Hello and welcome to Marvin Gardens, February 2009, and it is raw out here. It's a little above freezing, so it's like sort of muddy underfoot, but it's cold enough to be chilling to the bone. And it was snowing a little bit earlier and raining a little bit, and the wind is blowing, and it's just kind of nasty and ugly out here. Sometimes February is really pretty if you get a nice snowstorm, but we're not getting that today. And February is when people are talking about an early spring and all that, and I'm just as big a fan of Puxatawny Phil and Groundhog's Day as anybody, but I gotta tell you, spring is never early and it's never late. In fact, it always comes right on the vernal equinox. And when on February 2nd they say 6 more weeks of winter, well, they're almost right. It's more like 7 more weeks actually. But it never comes any sooner than that. Now you can get a early thaw or a late cold snap, but spring is just about as predictable as the sunrise because it's based on the sun, and it'll always be right around March 20th or 21st. I hate to tell you, but there's nothing to look at out here. I did manage to convince the pups to come out. Don't know what Jesse's getting into there, and you can probably hear the wind howling. It's probably interfering with the sound a little bit, but I just wanted to let you see that Molly's out here too. What are you looking at, Mom? Anything? Anything exciting? Not much out here. And they're going to be wanting to go back inside pretty soon. And so will I, actually. Because, like I say, it's pretty raw out here today. But I tell you what, this is when you're thinking about your garden for the coming year. And this is when all the planning happens. And as a matter of fact, our seeds have already been ordered and have already arrived. So we're really thinking spring, even though it's a ways off yet. So let's take a few minutes, go inside and talk to the me that's inside and warm and comfortable, and we'll see a little bit of the garden planning that's going on. Then we'll come back out here and call it a wrap. So that's a nice fire we got going there, and February is a time when it's awfully nice to be able to sit next to a fire like that and get all cozy. But it's also a time when we're planning for the garden to be for the year. And I basically use 3 things to take care of most of my planning. First of all, I print out a calendar for the entire year. And this is just an Outlook calendar. And I've got all the events of when things are supposed to happen, and it just kind of makes it a little easier to plan weekends and things like that. Plus, if anything of significant happens, I can just jot it down on the calendar for future reference of the next calendar. The other is the actual garden layout, of course, very critical. And these are the different beds, of course, and this is where I just plan how much space I have and what needs to go where. And there seems to be kind of a Murphy's Law that you never have quite enough room for everything that you want to plant, but this helps make it work. And finally, Excel spreadsheet, being that I'm kind of a computer kind of guy. This has all the varieties that I'm going to grow down here, and then across here are like when you started indoors, what the spacing is if you're planting seeds, how to set the plants out, at the spacing, the row spacing, and also some notes about, soil preparation and fertilization and things like that. And so that helps me also. And I mentioned starting seedlings because we start a lot of our seedlings inside before taking them out to the garden, because that way you have a much wider selection of plants to choose from and varieties to choose from. So I'm going to show you the indoor greenhouse next. So let's take a look in just a second here. So not all that far away from the warm glow of the wood stove is what might be called an indoor greenhouse. Now this may look like a laundry room because it is a laundry room. Washer, dryer, chest freezer, hot water heater, furnace, but it also has this, and it's kind of confined in here, so it's hard to really get a very good shot, but you can maybe make out that that's a wooden structure with 3 levels of light, and each level has a plywood shelf, and illuminating it are these grow lights. And so this is what is going to be the seedling nursery, and it'll start getting into action next month, because that's when we start. If we were growing onions from seed, they'd already be going, but we're doing onions from plants this year rather than seeds. So it's all fired up, as you can see, and cleared out and ready to start the growing process. So there you have it, the indoor greenhouse. Oh, and these guys, by the way, are fans to help keep it from getting too hot with all the lights that are going there. So let's head back out to the Marv outside, and I think he's going to wrap it up for this month in Marvin Gardens. Well, now you know what's going on inside. Out here, it's just raw and windy, and you know, there's still things to sniff at, and you never know when a winter mouse is going to show up, I guess. But other than that, not much going on. And I think probably if we find Molly, she's over here, she's going to be ready to go inside pretty soon, right, Mom? Yeah. And you can see, you know, the freezing has caused a little problem here that we're going to have to deal with when the weather gets warmer. But right now we're just going to go back inside and sit by the fire and play with trains or something else. And that's going to do it for Marvin Gardens in February of 2009. So we'll see you in March, and hopefully there'll be a little action out here in March, and there'll definitely be some action inside with seedlings coming up, depending on what day in March we do the March video. But that's going to do it for now, and we'll see you all next month for another installment of Marvin Gardens 2009. Bye, y'all.